Hi there, Jennifer here with Celtic episode number 11. And today I'm sharing with you a condensed version of an interview I did with four-time All-Ireland Fiddle champion Dylan Foley. He is seriously one of the nicest musicians I've ever worked with, and his passion for the Irish fiddle playing tradition is so evident in his playing. When he plays, I can always feel his happiness just to be a part of the music, almost as if he feels honored to have the chance to play it. So if you ever get a chance to hear Dylan play live, don't pass it up because you will really enjoy what he brings to the music. Dylan won his first All-Ireland when he was 12 years old, and he's been going strong ever since. In this interview, Dylan shares with us a little about how he got started, the Irish music scene today, and he plays a few tunes for us. Some advance warning that there are a few moments when the internet connection wasn't perfect, and so he looks a little frozen for a second or two, but bear with us, it only lasts for a few seconds. So now let's dive into the interview with Dylan Foley. All right, hello everybody. We are live now with Dylan Foley. So happy to have you here, Dylan. It's been so long since I've actually seen you. So I'm glad that we're actually doing this interview just so I can catch up with you personally. So Dylan and I have done several tours together. Dylan, I'm going to jump in here with some questions. I've already told everybody that you are a four-time All-Ireland Fiddle champion, so they know we're dealing with greatness already. But I want to kind of start. I want to work backwards, and I want to know when you started playing and kind of how it happened.
Okay. Well, I started playing when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and basically before then, you know, there was music around the house. Both my parents were both musicians, and they used to bring me a lot to sessions around in the area. I live and I'm from upstate New York, just a couple hours north of New York City, and that's where I am now. And there was this older guy by the name of Father Charlie Cohen, he's in his 80s now, but he had a very popular concert series going on up here for about 20 years. And he's from Woodford in County Galway, and he immigrated over here in the late 50s. And between going to sessions led by him and these concerts, and also my parents were big into dancing. They were into contra dancing and ceilidhs, and so they used to bring me along as a kid, and they would set up a mat by the stage. I'd fall asleep to the music and kind of wake up to the music. So I was always around it, and there was always a fiddle player. I always remember there being a fiddle player, no matter where we went. So that was kind of the thing that I liked, was watching and listening to the fiddle player, whoever that was. And sometimes it was Jay Unger. You know, Jay Unger lives close by. He's the man who wrote Ashokan Farewell. You know, I think the music thrives up here.
Very cool. So was the fiddle the first instrument that you picked up, or did you start with something else? Like, because I know you play the whistle also.
Yeah, I think I kind of picked that up first because my mom plays the whistle, so I used to just pick it up and play some tunes, or just kind of learn, you know, something that she was playing, kind of follow her a bit, you know. I also used to steal my dad's guitar, and it's funny because I used to steal it and I used to break all the strings on it, and, like bring it back to him, and he didn't like that so much. So he ended up getting me my own guitar, and I ended up getting my own whistle, and I got a couple whistles and flutes back here somewhere.
So would you say that your parents were kind of your first teachers, since they both play?
I think so, yeah. I think just watching them and how they enjoyed the music, that was a big part of me getting into playing, seeing their enjoyment. And that was definitely a big part. And there was also a lot of kids interested in the music, more kind of closer down to the city. But I remember going to some events down there and seeing a lot of kids my age. I found a fiddle player closer to me by the name of Rose Flanagan. And Rose is the sister of Brian Conway. And the two of them to this day, I mean, they have hundreds of students, and they're just great at getting kids involved and playing, and having them compete as well. That's another part of their tutelage. And so I remember, I think before I went to Rose, I was kind of a little bit unsure about it, but when I went to her, she really assured me and got me competing, got me into playing on my own, which was something that I never did before. So,
That's so cool.
And then I started competing, and I was 12 years old when I ended up going to Ireland, and that was my first time winning. I was 12.
So, Dylan, you teach a lot of workshops now. Did you attend those types of camps when you were younger? And if you did, how have you seen them change as far as the way things are being taught or the involvement, that kind of thing?
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting question. There's one festival in particular that I've gone to since I was a little kid. I think the first time I went, I was 4 years old, and it's called the Catskills Irish Arts Week. This week really brings everyone together, and it's a community thing. And it's just, how has it changed? I mean, if anything, it's gotten bigger. It used to be just a couple hundred students, and now it's grown into like almost 500. So if anything, it's gotten bigger. It's really about the song and about the poetry and that side of things. So she's kind of broadening it a bit, and making it not just about the music, but about other things. So
Right, and the storytelling, which is really a big part of the singing.
Definitely.
So do you still go to a lot of sessions outside of that week?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's sessions. I'd say the biggest session scene closest to me is in New York City, and I'm about an hour and a half from Manhattan, so it's pretty convenient. There's a legend by the name of Tony DeMarco, and when you think of Tony DeMarco, you think of some like Italian mafia guy, and he is Italian, but he's one of the best fiddle players around, and he's been running sessions in the city for 30, 40 years, and he's kind of keeping the scene going down there.
There's a video of you and you're playing for a dancer, and I wondered how often you play for dancers, and when you do you have to change the tempo drastically so much that you feel like you're compromising the natural feel of the tune?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that definitely does happen. Sometimes you're playing for dancers and they just want it so fast that you just kind of lose the tune. But overall, though, playing for dancers is a lot of fun. There's kind of an energy, you're kind of feeding off of them. If they go nuts, if they like jump in the air or something, it's like, oh, cool. It's like it's a good back and forth. And I love playing with energy and with passion and that whole thing. So it's great to share that with someone.
So Dylan, you play a lot, and I'm curious how you handle mistakes on stage.
Mistakes on stage. Wow. These are all great questions, Jennifer, I gotta say. Mistakes on stage. Well, I think the key is to just keep going no matter what. If it's I've been in situations where I break a string while I'm playing, and in that case, you can't really. I mean, I've done it where like I've broken a string at the end of a tune, and you kind of just keep going, and it's a little bit out of tune because when you break a string, it knocks the other strings out of tune.
I
So you
think that
just kind of
happened once
take
with
like the last.
stage. I think you
I'm
actually broke
sure
a
it has.
string one time.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it has. But as long as there's no strings broken, you can you just keep going no matter what. You just keep going, and
And
I think
this,
that's a
you
good
handle it the
philosophy.
same way in a competition.
Yeah, because I mean, some mistakes you might notice, but they don't. So, and it's all about your facial expression too. If you know you made a mistake and you make a face, that's it.
Your cover's
You know,
blown.
like
That's
you
it.
can't change your facial expression. You know,
Exactly.
which is something that I tend to do sometimes, and I have to catch myself. But
Yeah, you make great facial expressions when you play. Actually, it's great. It's great. Do you write your own tunes? This is something I don't even know if I know the answer to this question.
I have written a couple. One of them I recorded recently with my friend Josh Dukes, who's a great flute player, and he was in the fife and drum corps. He just retired out of the army actually, but he
And I saw him playing guitar recently with you as
yes,
well.
yeah,
So
he's a fantastic guitar player. Yeah, yeah. So we were just down in Atlanta. Funny enough,
Atlanta.
I wasn't too far from your neck of the woods, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So I was in your state at least. I mean, probably still pretty far.
I hope you had some good barbecue.
Oh, I didn't. I wish. I had some good wine. I had some lovely wine, and we went to a couple wineries, and
Did you go to
that's where we
Bojangles?
played. Oh,
Yeah. Well, you see, listen, when you don't tour with me, you don't get good food. That's just, you just gotta accept it. If you want good food, you need to tour with me. I'm putting Bojangles in the good food category. Welcome back, Dylan. Where'd you go?
Where else? Bojangles.
Okay, so back to the important stuff here.
Yeah.
So you've written some of your own tunes, and one of them is on the album with Josh.
So this is a tune that I wrote for my nephew, and he's 2 years old now. He's his name is Ted, and he's this little bouncy little guy. And whenever he's upset, my sister throws on some Irish music, whether it's me or someone else. She throws on some Irish music, and he gets kind of happy, and
That's awesome.
he stops crying anyway, which is great.
Yeah.
So I wrote this tune for him, and it's kind of, if you can imagine this little guy bouncing around to some tunes. This is what I was thinking of him while this came into my head. So.
So there you have it, Celtic episode number 11 with Dylan Foley. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Dylan better and his music as much as I enjoyed hosting this interview. Until next time, Martian love.